Right now, at this very moment, you're either dying or living, and most of you don't even know which one it is. You wake up, go through your routines, check your boxes, collect your paychecks, and call it a life. But here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to hear. If you can't tell me in one sentence why you jumped out of bed this morning, not dragged yourself, not forced yourself, but jumped with excitement, then you're not living. You're just postponing death. You're a zombie with a pulse, a sleepwalker with a salary, a corpse with a credit score. And the saddest part, you've convinced yourself that this is normal, that this is enough, that this is all there is. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong, and the cost of your longness is nothing less than your entire life. Every morning, millions of people wake up, hit the snooze button, drag themselves out of bed, and sleepwalk through another day without any clear direction. They go through the motions, checking off tasks, responding to emails, attending meetings. But something crucial is missing. A burning reason to get up, a compelling vision that pulls them forward, a purpose that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary opportunities. I met Sarah 3 years ago at a corporate event where she worked as a middle manager at a Fortune 500 company. She had all the trappings of success: a six-figure salary, a corner office, respect from her peers. Yet when I asked her what excited her about tomorrow, she paused, looked down at her expensive shoes, and admitted she couldn't remember the last time she felt genuinely excited about anything. That conversation haunted her. 6 months later, she quit her job to start a nonprofit that teaches coding to underprivileged kids. Today, she makes half what she used to earn, works twice as hard, and tells everyone she's never been happier. The difference? She found her purpose. You see, there are two types of people in this world. The first group drifts through life like leaves in the wind, pushed and pulled by external circumstances, reacting to whatever comes their way. They work jobs they tolerate, maintain relationships that are comfortable but not inspiring, and wonder why they feel empty despite having checked all the boxes society told them to check. The second group lives with intention. They wake up each morning with fire in their belly, knowing exactly why they're here and what they're meant to contribute. These people don't just exist, they thrive. They don't just work, they create. They don't just survive, they make a difference. Recent studies from Harvard Business School reveal that individuals with a strong sense of purpose are 10 times more likely to achieve their career goals, earn 23% more over their lifetime, and report 40% higher levels of life satisfaction. But these statistics only tell part of the story. The real magic happens in the day-to-day transformation, when purpose becomes your North Star. I remember my own awakening 25 years ago. I was selling training materials door to door, barely making ends meet, feeling like a failure at 35, one rainy afternoon after being rejected by the 15th prospect that day. I sat in my beat-up car and asked myself a simple question: what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? The answer came instantly. I would help people reach their full potential. That moment changed everything. It wasn't about the product I was selling anymore. It was about the transformation I could facilitate. My sales tripled within 6 months, not because I changed my technique, but because I changed my reason for being there. Living without purpose costs more than most people realize. Studies show that 87% of employees worldwide are disengaged at work, costing companies $7 trillion, 0 cents, in lost productivity annually. But the personal cost runs even deeper. Purposeless living leads to what psychologists call existential vacuum, a state where life feels meaningless, where days blur together, where achievements feel hollow. People compensate with mindless consumption, endless scrolling through social media, or numbing themselves with various distractions, all while the quiet voice inside whispers, there must be more to life than this. Think about the last time you were completely absorbed in something meaningful. Time disappeared. Energy flowed effortlessly. Problems became puzzles to solve rather than obstacles to avoid. That's what purpose does. It transforms effort into enthusiasm, work into wonder, routine into ritual. When you align your daily actions with a deeper calling, even mundane tasks take on new significance because they serve a greater vision. The moment you discover your true purpose, everything shifts. Colors seem brighter, conversations become deeper, opportunities appear where you once saw only obstacles. It's not that the world changes, your perception does. You stop asking why me and start asking how can I serve. You stop waiting for motivation and become the source of inspiration for others. You stop living for the weekend and start living for the mission. This transformation isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone willing to stop long enough to listen to their inner voice, brave enough to pursue what truly matters, and persistent enough to push through the initial discomfort of change. Your purpose is already within you, waiting to be acknowledged, honored, and acted upon. The question isn't whether you have a purpose. You do. The question is whether you'll have the courage to live it. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Because life is too short to spend it on autopilot, too precious to waste on work that doesn't matter, too valuable to live without meaning. Your purpose is calling. The world needs what you have to offer. The time to wake up with intention, direction, and passion is now. Finding your purpose isn't about having a lightning bolt moment of clarity, though sometimes it happens that way, more often. It's about asking yourself the right questions and listening honestly to the answers. The first question is simple yet profound. What breaks your heart about the world? Not what annoys you or frustrates you, but what genuinely moves you to tears. What keeps you awake at night? What problem makes you say, someone should do something about that? For Mother Teresa, it was the suffering of the poor. For Martin Luther King Jr., it was racial injustice. For Steve Jobs, it was the complexity of technology that prevented ordinary people from using its power. The second question builds on the first. What unique gifts do you possess that could address this problem? This isn't about being the best in the world. It's about recognizing your particular combination of talents, experiences, and perspectives. Maybe you're great at explaining complex ideas simply. Perhaps you have unusual patience with difficult people. Maybe you see patterns others miss, or bring humor to tense situations. Your gifts don't have to be extraordinary. They just have to be yours. The third question connects everything. If money were no object and failure were impossible, how would you spend your days? This isn't about fantasy or escapism. It's about removing the artificial barriers we create and seeing what naturally emerges. When you strip away fear, obligation, and practical concerns, what remains is often your truest calling. Now comes the practical part, writing your life mission statement. This isn't a corporate exercise or a motivational gimmick. It's a declaration of intent, a promise to yourself about how you'll spend your limited time on earth. Start with this template. My purpose is to, so that's my purpose, so that, as a desired outcome, for example, my purpose is to teach practical success principles to aspiring entrepreneurs so that they can build businesses that change lives while supporting their families. Your mission statement should be specific enough to guide decisions, but flexible enough to evolve. It should excite you when you read it and slightly scare you with its ambition, most importantly. It should feel authentic, not what you think sounds impressive, but what genuinely resonates in your soul. Many people stumble in their search for purpose by making predictable mistakes. They confuse purpose with goals. Goals are destinations, purpose is direction. You can achieve a goal and feel empty. You can fail at a goal and still feel fulfilled if you're living your purpose. They also mistake interests for purpose. Being interested in photography doesn't mean your purpose is to be a photographer. Your purpose might be to capture beauty that inspires others, which could manifest through photography, writing, teaching, or countless other ways. Another common error is believing purpose must be grand or world-changing. Your purpose might be raising children who contribute positively to society. It might be creating beautiful spaces that bring joy to others. It might be solving technical problems that make life easier for your colleagues. Purpose isn't measured by scope, but by authenticity and impact. Values form the foundation of purpose. If purpose is your compass, values are your true north. Identifying your core values, perhaps integrity, creativity, connection, growth, service, helps you recognize which purposes align with who you really are versus who you think you should be. When your purpose contradicts your values, you'll feel constant internal, that state of effortless engagement where work feels like play. Distinguishing between true purpose and temporary interest requires patience and observation. Interests often spike with novelty and fade with familiarity. Purpose deepens over time. Interests energize you in the moment. Purpose sustains you through difficulties. Interests make you happy. Purpose makes you fulfilled. The key is to notice patterns. What themes keep appearing in your life? What activities leave you energized rather than drained? What contributions bring tears of joy rather than relief? Consider Ray Kroc, who discovered his purpose at 52 when he walked into a McDonald's restaurant. He wasn't passionate about hamburgers, he was passionate about systems that could deliver consistent quality. His purpose wasn't feeding people, it was creating replicable excellence. Or Julia Child, who didn't even cook until her 30s and didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50. Her purpose wasn't just cooking, it was demystifying French cuisine for American home cooks. These stories remind us that purpose isn't bound by age, circumstances, or previous choices. Your purpose might be hiding in plain sight, disguised as a hobby, a side interest, or that thing people always ask you to help with. It might emerge from your greatest struggle, your deepest wound, or your most persistent curiosity. And the beauty of purpose is that once you find it, everything else falls into place. Career decisions become clearer, relationships deepen or naturally fade based on alignment. Time management simplifies because you know what deserves your attention. Even challenges transform from obstacles into opportunities to grow stronger in service of your mission. Very purpose is waiting to be discovered, not created. It's already within you, shaped by your experiences, refined by your values, and calling through your deepest desires. The journey to find it requires courage, honesty, and patience, but the reward, a life of meaning, contribution, and authentic fulfillment, makes every step worthwhile. The gap between knowing your purpose and living it daily is where most people get stuck. They have the vision but lack the bridge to make it reality. The secret lies in creating rituals that connect your highest aspirations to your smallest actions. Starting with how you begin each day. The most successful people I know wake up with intention, not obligation. They don't reach for their phones to see what the world wants from them. They reach for their purpose to remember what they want from the world. Here's a morning ritual that transforms purpose from concept to lifestyle. First, spend 5 minutes in gratitude, acknowledging what's already working in your life. Gratitude creates the emotional foundation for purposeful action. Second, write one paragraph connecting today's planned activities to your larger purpose. If you can't connect them, question why you're doing them. Third, visualize yourself at the end of the day, having moved closer to your purpose. Feel the satisfaction. Let it pull you forward. This isn't positive thinking, it's strategic thinking. When you start your day connected to purpose, you make different choices. You say yes to opportunities that align with your mission and no to distractions that don't. You approach challenges as chances to grow stronger in service of your purpose, not as random obstacles to endure. Breaking down your purpose into actionable goals requires both ambition and pragmatism. Start with your 10-year vision. Where does living your purpose lead? Then work backward. What must be true in 5 years to reach that 10-year vision? What must happen in 1 year to reach that 5-year milestone? What must you accomplish this quarter, this month, this week, today? This reverse engineering transforms an inspiring but overwhelming purpose into specific, manageable actions. The key is making these goals behavioral, not just aspirational. Instead of become a better leader, commit to have one meaningful development conversation with a team member every week. Instead of help more people, decide to volunteer 4 hours monthly at the Literacy Center. Specific behaviors create momentum. Vague intentions create frustration. Your 90-day transformation plan becomes the bridge between current reality and future possibility. 90 days is long enough to create real change, but short enough to maintain focus. Choose 3 specific outcomes that directly serve your purpose. For each outcome, identify weekly milestones and daily actions. Track progress visibly. Use a calendar, spreadsheet, or app that shows your consistency. What gets measured gets done. The first 2 weeks will test your commitment. Your brain, comfortable with old patterns, will resist. You'll find perfectly reasonable excuses to skip your morning ritual or postpone that important conversation. This resistance isn't weakness, it's biology. Your brain is designed to conserve energy by maintaining familiar patterns. Pushing through this initial resistance is how you prove to yourself that your purpose matters more than your comfort. Expect what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance, that force that appears whenever we try to move toward our higher calling. It shows up as procrastination, self-doubt, sudden emergencies, or the irresistible urge to reorganize your desk instead of making that important call. The resistance is strongest just before breakthrough, when you feel it most intensely. You're closest to meaningful progress. Building momentum through small wins is crucial. Every action aligned with your purpose, no matter how small, creates evidence that you're becoming who you're meant to be. Sent that email. Win. Had that difficult conversation. Win. Chose purpose-aligned work over easy money. Major win. Celebrate these victories. They're not just accomplishments, they're identity reinforcers. James Clear's research on habits reveals that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. Your daily systems, the rituals, routines, and practices you install determine whether your purpose becomes your life or remains a nice idea. Make purpose-aligned actions easier than purpose-opposing ones. If your purpose involves writing, set up your desk the night before. If it involves fitness, lay out your workout clothes. Remove friction from what matters. Add friction to what doesn't. The compound effect of living with purpose appears gradually. Then suddenly, for weeks, you might feel like nothing's changing. Then one day, you realize you're not the same person who started this journey. Opportunities aligned with your purpose seem to appear mysteriously. People comment on your increased energy and focus. Work feels less like effort and more like expression. This transformation isn't magic, it's mathematics. Small actions, consistently taken, compound into remarkable results. A 1% improvement daily leads to being 37 times better in a year. That's the power of aligning daily actions with lifelong purpose. That's how ordinary people achieve extraordinary lives. The truth nobody wants to admit is that most people discover their purpose, feel inspired for a few weeks, then gradually drift back to their old patterns. The excitement fades, life gets complicated, and that clear vision becomes a distant memory. Understanding why this happens is the first step to preventing it in your own journey. People abandon their purpose for predictable reasons. First, they underestimate the discomfort of growth. Living your purpose means leaving your comfort zone daily, and humans are wired to seek comfort. Second, they go alone, without support. The first major setback sends them running back to familiar territory. Third, they expect linear progress when results don't match expectations. They assume they chose the wrong purpose rather than understanding that all meaningful progress involves plateaus and temporary setbacks. The psychology of persistence reveals something fascinating. Those who stick with their purpose don't have more willpower than those who quit. They have better systems. They understand that motivation is unreliable, but environment and accountability are powerful. They know that feelings follow actions, not the other way around. When you wait to feel inspired before taking action, you'll wait forever. When you take action, despite not feeling inspired, inspiration often follows. Creating support systems that reinforce your purpose starts with careful selection of your inner circle. Jim Rohn famously said, "You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If those 5 people think your purpose is unrealistic, naive, or threatens their comfort, they'll subtly or overtly sabotage your progress. Not from malice, but from fear. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Building your support system requires 3 types of people: mentors who've walked your path before, peers who share your commitment to growth, and people you serve who remind you why your purpose matters. A mentor provides perspective during challenges. Peers provide encouragement during doubt. Those you serve provide meaning during difficulty. Professional support multiplies your chances of success. Hiring a coach, joining a mastermind group, or enrolling in purpose-aligned training programs isn't spending money, it's investing in accountability. When you pay for support, you pay attention. When others expect your progress reports, you make progress worth reporting. Turning setbacks into stepping stones requires reframing failure as feedback. Every obstacle contains information about what needs to change. Every rejection reveals where to improve. Every mistake teaches what not to repeat. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10 times before inventing the light bulb. He found 10 ways that didn't work. Each attempt brought him closer to success. When setbacks hit, and they will, ask 3 questions. What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? What opportunity is hidden in this challenge? These questions transform victimhood into ownership, problems into possibilities, setbacks into setups for comebacks. The compound effect of living with purpose creates momentum that becomes increasingly difficult to stop. Each purpose-aligned action strengthens your identity as someone who lives purposefully. Each challenge overcome increases your confidence in facing future challenges. Each person helped through your purpose reminds you why temporary discomfort is worth enduring. After 6 months of consistent purpose-driven living, something shifts. The actions that once required enormous effort become natural. The resistance that once seemed insurmountable becomes manageable. The vision that once seemed distant becomes achievable. You stop questioning whether you can live your purpose and start wondering why you waited so long to begin. This sustainability comes from integration, not motivation. Your purpose becomes part of your identity, not just your activity. You don't have to remember to live purposefully any more than you have to remember to breathe. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. The ultimate test of sustainable purpose comes during life's inevitable storms: loss, disappointment, unexpected change. These moments reveal whether your purpose was a fair-weather friend or a life companion. True purpose sustains you through difficulty because it provides meaning beyond circumstances. Viktor Frankl survived Nazi concentration camps by holding on to his purpose. Your challenges pale in comparison, yet the principle remains: purpose provides power beyond circumstances. When you commit to living purposefully, regardless of conditions, You join a rare group of humans who shape reality rather than be shaped by it. You become someone who contributes rather than complains, who creates rather than criticizes, who lifts others while rising yourself. This isn't just personal development, it's human evolution. Your sustained purpose doesn't just change your life, it changes lives around you. You never know whose life you'll change by living your purpose. 6 months ago, a woman named Margaret approached me after a seminar. She was 73, recently widowed, and felt her life was essentially over. She'd heard me speak about purpose and wanted to share her story. For 50 years, she'd been a nurse, but her real passion was teaching children to read. She'd always dreamed of starting a literacy program, but never found the time. Now, with time abundant and purpose absent, she felt lost. Start now, I told her. Your purpose doesn't have an expiration date. She looked skeptical, but promised to think about it. Last week, I received a letter. Margaret had started a reading program in her garage with 3 neighborhood kids. Word spread. Now, 47 children come to Grandma Margaret's reading garden every week. Parents report their kids beg to go. Teachers notice improved performance. One child told Margaret, "You taught me that words are magic," Margaret wrote. "I thought my useful life was over. Instead, it was just beginning." This is the ripple effect of purpose-driven living. When you live authentically aligned with your mission, you become a permission slip for others to do the same. Your courage inspires their courage. Your persistence ignites their persistence. Your success proves that transformation is possible at any age, in any circumstance. The mathematics of impact are staggering. If Margaret teaches 47 children to love reading, and each of those children reads to their future children, and those children inspire others, within 3 generations, Margaret's garage program could impact thousands. She'll never meet most of them. She'll never know their names. But her purpose will echo through time because she chose to begin. Your purpose impacts others in ways you can't imagine. The employee who finds meaning in their work because of your leadership style. The stranger inspired by watching you pursue your dream despite obstacles. The family member who finally believes change is possible because they watched you change. We drastically underestimate our influence because we can't see the full ripple pattern of our actions. Building habits that align with your purpose requires intentional design. Every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Reading industry publications daily votes for expertise. Making difficult calls before lunch votes for courage. Mentoring others weekly votes for legacy. These votes compound. Eventually, you don't have purposeful habits, you become a purposeful person. The most powerful habits connect directly to your why. If your purpose involves innovation, build a habit of questioning assumptions. If it involves service, build a habit of asking, "How can I help?" before being asked. If it involves excellence, build a habit of doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. These habits seem small but create extraordinary results over time. Creating accountability systems prevents purpose drift. Weekly purpose reviews keep you honest. Ask yourself, did my actions this week align with my purpose? What pulled me off track? What kept me on track? How can I improve next week? Monthly purpose meetings with an accountability partner add external perspective. Quarterly purpose retreats provide deeper reflection and course correction. Technology can enhance accountability. Apps that track purpose-aligned activities, online communities of purpose-driven individuals, digital journals that prompt purposeful reflection. These tools transform good intentions into consistent actions. But remember, technology serves purpose, not vice versa. Don't let tracking your purpose replace living it. Your first step today determines everything. Not tomorrow's step or next week's plan, today's action, right now, while inspiration is fresh and excuses haven't formed. Take one concrete action aligned with your purpose. Send that email, make that call. Write that first page, register for that class, schedule that meeting. Small action beats grand planning every time. Here's what happens next. That single action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates bigger actions. Bigger actions create visible results. Visible results create accountability. Accountability creates consistency. Consistency creates transformation. Transformation creates legacy. It all starts with what you do in the next hour. The world is waiting for what you have to offer. Not a perfect version of you, but the real you, living authentically aligned with your purpose. Your imperfect action today matters more than your perfect plan for tomorrow. Your stumbling progress inspires more than your polished presentation. Your genuine effort touches hearts that your credentials never could. 20 years from now, you'll face one of two scenarios. Either you'll look back with gratitude at the day you chose purpose over comfort, meaning over money, contribution over consumption, or you'll wonder what might have been if you'd had the courage to begin. The choice is yours. The time is now. Your purpose has waited long enough. The world needs what you came here to give. Wake up tomorrow with purpose and watch your life transform from existence to significance, from success to fulfillment, from getting by to giving back. Your purposeful life starts now.